Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2388. Today we're celebrating the Rennsport Reunion 7. It takes place September 28th through October 1st at the beautiful Laguna Seca Raceway, celebrating the 75th anniversary of Porsche and the 60th anniversary of the iconic Porsche 911. Today we're with somebody very special, so be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Well, today I'm in Colorado with a name that you Porsche folks, well, a lot of you folks in all sorts of genres here, and the Marks will know, Jeff Zwart. Jeff, welcome. I should say welcome back to Cars Yeah. You were one of my first 100 guests. Do you have any gear? And are you ready to release the clutch?
I am ready here, Mark. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, it's good to see you and talk to you again. Well, not see you, but talk to you. And, you know, I feel like I see you at all these car events. I just saw you a few weeks ago, Car Week down there at Laguna Seca. You're always running around doing something, though. You're never sitting around just relaxing. Do you ever get any of that kind of time when you go to a racetrack?
Kind of racing is my relaxation and kind of my ability to drop out of the reality of my work world occasionally. So it all feeds each other. I'm very fortunate to have a career that is also my passion, and all the elements of it are so diverse that it really does create a pretty interesting world for me to live in, and I still genuinely enjoy it. And yes, you're right. I mean, I generally am working on something, but that work is so related to my passion at the same time that it's not really work.
Well, it's the secret sauce to life. And every year I see you during Car Week, seen you at Lufticolts, I've seen you all over the place. You seem to be everywhere. And of course, this week we're talking about the fantastic Rennsport. This is number 7. I cannot wait. Being a Porsche-phile like you, this is the holy grail of Porsche events. So let me give you a brief introduction for people that maybe didn't hear you back in 2014. That's the last time you were on the show. It's been far too long. But again, I feel like I see you every year, and I do. So here we go. Jeff Zwart is a commercial film director, a racer, a photographer, a cameraman, and an author, just to name a few things. He shot commercials for Porsche, BMW, Cadillac, GM, Hyundai, Ford, and many other marques. He's a graduate of the Art Center College of Design and has enjoyed an exceptional life and career around automobiles. He's traveled all over the world, shooting, directing, racing, and photographing cars. Jeff speaks at lectures and has driven in numerous races and rallies, including Pikes Peak, International Hill Climb, the Panama-Alaska Rally, the Baja 1000, and the TransSyberia Rally, just to name a few of the fun places he's driven. Jeff is one of the creative directors for Porsche Cars North America at the Rennsport Reunion 7 this year that he and I and hopefully all of you listening will be at. We'll be back in just a moment, but first a word from our sponsors. They give us a little petrol to put in the tanks here. Buckle up. We'll be right back. We're talking Rennsport. Years ago, when it was time to renew my collector car insurance policy, my carrier's rates went up, way up, but my usage was the same and I never made a claim. I didn't even have a ticket. So what's with that? So I turned to American Collectors Insurance. Has your collector car insurance recently raised your rates for no good reason? Tired of paying an annual membership fee? Then it's time to look around and call American Collectors Insurance. I shopped around, I asked friends for recommendations, and found a winner that I can trust. And boy, I'm glad I did. I saved hundreds of dollars every year and slept better at night knowing my baby was properly insured. American Collectors Insurance have been protecting vehicles since 1976. They provided me with an agreed value insurance policy backed by their history of taking great care of their clients. What could be better than that? So give them a call and ask for a quote today. 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. And protect the ones you love like I did with American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. Did you know that Cars Yeah is in the top 1% of all podcasts based on listenership according to Libsyn, the premier RSS feed for podcasts in the United States? That's right. Plus, DuPont Registry recommended Cars Yeah is one of their top 10 car podcasts for you to enjoy. Cars Yeah has experienced tremendous growth, plus your ads are evergreen, meaning they never go away. And more listeners find Cars Yeah every day for their daily dose of automotive inspiration. Do you want to expose your brand to a highly targeted list of automotive enthusiasts in a very unique and very personal way? Well, I can help you. Contact me, Mark Green, at mark@carsyeah.com or through the website at carsyeah.com today to learn more. So, Jeff, we are back. Now, number 7, sometimes it seems like we were just at number 6, but it was years ago. I wanted to know a little bit more before we get into some of the things that people will experience at Rennsport. What is your role exactly with Porsche in the respects of this event? Because you do so many things with Porsche.
Yeah, I mean, Rennsport is truly a culmination of all things Porsche for me because, as you know, I've been involved in the advertising world for Porsche literally since the mid-'80s, and so that takes me from 944s all the way to the modern cars, and most recently doing the Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter film with the Taycan, and it just, that side of it, of handling the commercial advertising for Porsche in so many different ways, and I'm not exclusive to that, but I have shot a lot of materials with them. And so then to combine that with my passion of racing and the historical cars and everything, really Rennsport is a place where all that comes together. So it was a little bit natural for me to get called in from Porsche Cars North America to oversee the creative side of things at Rennsport, especially the storytelling side, where the historical cars have so many different themes to provide to really understand where Porsche has come from, where Porsche is going, and what Porsche stands for is truly integrated with the motorsport side of things. So that's my role with them. I mean, I also have done 3 books on Rennsport, and I'm one of the few people that have actually been to every Rennsport since the first one in Lime Rock.
Wow. Well, fortunate you are, that's for sure. I was so excited that they were bringing it back to Laguna Seca. Last time Rennsport happened there, it was so much fun. And it was just this overload of Porsche, everything, all sorts of fun. And we're going to run through a list of things that people that get to go to Rennsport or considering it, and you should go. I mean, even if Porsche isn't your mark of choice, this event has so much to offer. But I want to first ask you this question. If you were to describe somebody in that proverbial 30-second elevator ride up, what is Rennsport? What is Rennsport Reunion? How would you describe it?
Rennsport is the history of Porsche Motorsport in motion. And that's a key part of it. It's in motion. So many of us have attended museums, and certainly the fantastic museum in Zuffenhausen that houses all of Porsche's history. But this is an opportunity to genuinely see the cars in action on the track. And then the human side of it is pretty spectacular because virtually from the early years to the latest, greatest, we have all the great drivers that have contributed to the motorsport history and success of Porsche. So it has so many things to offer. But like you said, also, this is an event that I believe the success of it is that it attracts more than just the motorsport interests. It has something for everybody at the event. And, with a destination like Laguna Seca in the Monterey Peninsula on the coast in California, it's just a great destination. And the fact that one of the most iconic racetracks is nestled there, not far from the coast, that we will get to race these great cars of the history of Porsche's motorsport. It's just such a great place to host an event like this.
Oh, yeah. And especially since they just resurfaced the track, which I got to see when I was there. And I believe you've done some driving on the track since they resurfaced it, right?
Yes, I have. I actually was driving a 75 RSR in the pre-Rolex reunion weekend, and that was really fun. And I will say, in all my years, many, many years of driving and racing at Laguna Seca. It was a bit odd to be on a track that was completely black without a single skid mark,
Yes.
without a single line of where the corner was. So, it was in my head for a couple laps, but as things go, you listen to that flat six running with you and pulling gears down the straightaway. All that kind of goes away and you go into the focus of racing. But it was strange to enter the track and have it completely black ahead of me.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was thinking the same thing because that's the track where I got my vintage racing license, and I've run there many times. And you get used to those lines of tire marks that go through the corners, and even though you know the corners, it kind of helps you place where the car needs to be. But yeah, that must have been a bit of an oddity, if you will, but nice and smooth, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's smooth. And, the roller coaster that takes place as you enter and turn that left-hand turn into the top of the corkscrew, nothing has changed there. It's a wonderful experience, even after all these years I've run there.
It's always fun. So let's walk through some of the wonderful things that are going to happen here. And you touched on this first, something that you and I know about cars. They are simply the catalyst for great people. And for attending Rennsport, you walk around and you will see all the greats, current and past, even more fun for me, past people that have raced there. I wonder if you could touch on maybe a few people, because there's going to be so many that are going to be there, along with the great Jeff Zwart, of course.
Well, I'm honored to be a part of any of the drivers there, because we all have come up through this in the driving world, but yet, the reason for me to aspire to be a racing driver was, people like Vic Elford and Hurley Haywood, and people that, are either not with us anymore, but legends in the Porsche world, but people that are still with us, like Hurley, which is so great. And, just even in the Grand Marshal side of things this year, we have Alan Springer that I go back so far with. I actually knew Alan before Andal even existed, because my dad got his 911 serviced at the Vasi Pollock dealership where Alan worked, and then to have him as the Grand Marshal. And Alan was very integral into my own Porsche Motorsport efforts, because he was able to approve things early on, and really the reason why I went to Pikes Peak with a Porsche for the first time in 1994 was Alan Springer's doing. So he's a very special person to me, and to have him honored, and then to take my partner in Lufke Kult, the guy who dreamed up the whole idea of that event, Patrick Long, and to have been along with Pat for so many years and watching him race and do so well, not just in the United States, but globally. It's just really fun to have both of those guys representing the Grand Marshals for the event. But then, I got to say, I've been involved in Rennsport multiple years, and there's an autograph session, which will happen again this year, multiple autograph sessions. And when you sit in that line of drivers and have people, push their items through to get signed and tell little stories and things, I look down that row and it's unbelievable
Legends.
to me of who's sitting. Yes, it's very special. But I think that, this year, especially being the 75th anniversary of Porsche, everybody's coming out, everybody's going to be there, and it is an absolutely amazing, group of cars, but even a more amazing group of people.
Absolutely. And of course, walking around, you'll see members of the Porsche family there. You just see everybody, and you start to go, wait, your head is just spinning round and round. So that's going to be a big part of it. One of the things that they do at these events is they have what are called parade laps. So if you were to describe to a listener, what does that mean, a parade lap? What does that mean to you?
Well, there's actually, a fine line between parade and demonstration and flat out racing.
Oh, yeah.
So, depending on which group you're in, but it is a great all-inclusive part of this, that the PCA, the Porsche Club of America, will have its own times to have its members be able to do laps, and that would be anything from an early 356 to the latest, greatest Carrera GTS or new GT3 or whatever, and those laps are kind of held behind pace cars, and then there's these laps that will be all the modern GT cars with a lot of the modern GT racers driving them. And, while that isn't a race, it will be definitely up the competitive nature out there. You'll actually get to hear, what a mid-engined RSR sounds like and at full song. And then there are other smaller groups of our group, which is, originally formed from Freeman Thomas's dream of putting together sport purpose early 9/11 people, to the Outlaw group, which certainly Rod Emery has played a big part in. And then we have 918s and Carrera GTs and 959s, all in different groups that will all have an opportunity to be on the track. So it's a very, definitely, it serves every Porsche need you could possibly have standing at the edge of a racetrack watching things go by.
Oh, it's heaven. And for you listeners, you can go to their website. It's Porsche Rennsport Reunion.com. You can see they have a calendar every day from 7 a.m., sometimes going as late as 9:30 at night. Because one of the things I'm going to mention is they're going to have a movie night this time, and they're going to be running Transformers Rise of the Beast, which of course has Porsche in it, right?
Yes, it does. That's again goes back to having something for everybody. It's going to be a great family event, and it doesn't have to only appeal to the enthusiast. It's going to have something for everything, and I think that we all get a little bit amped up when we hear cars on the racetrack. And as you walk away from the racetrack into the center of the track in the paddock, you'll be able to see in the paddock literally decades of history that represent the 75th anniversary for Porsche of what it meant, not just in the racing cars, but also in the road cars. There are classes for cars from literally 1949 on. So they are grouped pretty much so by their performance and the era they were in. But you will have the opportunity to see from the earliest 356s to the latest, greatest cars on the track, including, modern cars that running this year in the IMSA series and at Le Mans. So it's a very wide range of cars we'll see, but each group and each class that's racing are designed to be competitive amongst that group. So we will see kind of a timeline of great racing and levels of performance. And it really kind of takes you back. I believe that, if you look at some of the earlier groups, you could stand on the corner there and the bottom of the corkscrew and look up there, and you wouldn't know whether you were there in the 60s or in the current year. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so wonderful. And another fun thing that they did last time, they're going to do it again, is Porsche tractors racing around the track, maybe just one lap because they don't go that fast. But a lot of people that maybe aren't in the Porsche market, they go, Porsche tractors, what? So maybe you talk about Porsche tractors a little bit.
Well, Porsche tractors, were surprisingly quite popular, certainly in Europe, but they also had a distributor in the United States. And I believe they ranged from like 1953 to 1962. They're all different models from 1-cylinder to 4-cylinder diesel tractors. And I will be bringing a very rare tractor, which actually is a gasoline-powered tractor, which is a Porsche System 312, which was used to cultivate the coffee plantations in Brazil. And I think there's only about 20 of those tractors left. But I will say that last Rennsport, I was in the tractor race, and it was an absolute blast. And It's so fun to look around and see Jörg Bergmeister and Pat Long and any number of great drivers, plus tractor owners and everything, all racing. We do about a third of a lap, I think. We finish out there after turn 4, so it's not too long of a race because we don't really have time for somebody to do a whole lap in a tractor.
I know. They go a little slow, but it's so spectacular and so much fun. And looking at all those famous racers up on those tractors, I've got some great pictures from before of some people that it's just a hoot, and they dress up. Now, another thing they're going to do, which they did last time, was a concert in the evening. That's kind of cool. Now, it doesn't say on the website who's going to be playing. Can you give me any kind of little scoop on who might be there? Because we had one of the, George from the Beatles' son was playing last time. Seal was there. I mean, there were some really great people.
Well, I'm not able to really say who that is.
Darn it. I thought for sure I'd be able to get it out of you.
I will tell you that no one will be disappointed, and it'll be a great, great concert, and it's always something we can look forward to, but we are keeping that part under the wrap.
All right.
So it's all good.
I figured. Okay. Well, for those of you listening that are going to be there, I can tell you the concert last time, at first I went, oh, okay, kind of cool. And then I looked at who was there, and we ended up dancing the night away. And I'm not really much of a dancer. Nobody wants to see me dance, but I got into it. It was so much fun. The whole Porsche family was down there front. Mark Webber was there. I mean, there's all these people. It was just, you just felt like you were with a bunch of friends. And we really, really were, which is pretty cool. Now, the other thing is, you mentioned earlier, PCA club racing. There's going to be some real club racing there, right?
Yes, it'll be great. And, I think there's a 30-car field, maybe a few more than that. And so you'll get to see the PCA racing series, a variety of cars from that race series that they run. And, it's a mix. So we really want to represent everything and also make racing somewhat approachable so that, you know that if you were a PCA member and you had an early Boxster or something like that you could get out on the track, that you could actually be part of racing groups. So that's another level of racing that we have at the event, and it should be make it kind of round out the racing groups to see people that are looking forward to racing in front of everybody at Rennsport as opposed to their local tracks that they usually race on.
Well, in the club racing, those guys are serious racers. I've got a bunch of friends that race in those groups, and they get out there, they battle it out. So it's very spirited. Lots of fun, lots of different Porsches in that group, which is pretty cool. They also have some fun things, the Porsche Lifestyle Retail Store. So if you're into buying all the Porsche stuff, they've got everything there. They've got a beer garden, which is pretty cool and fun. Shuttles up to the corkscrew, so you don't have to climb up the hill if you don't want to, but it's worth the walk for sure. And they also have a concours in the pit lane, which when I heard they were going to do that, I kind of went, what does that mean? But all these cool cars lined up right on the track, well, on pit lane, but right off the track. And you can walk up and down and look at the cars. They're doing that again this year, right?
Yes, they have the concours, and it's always a special one. I think we, kind of go through and choose all these different cars that can be part of the concours. And it, again, represents Porsches from the earliest years of motorsport to the latest. And, it's kind of, performing on the track is one thing, and performing on the show scene in the pit lane is also another one. So, the main thing is it gets these great cars, literally, some that are one of one in the world, out there on the pit lane, and allows you as an attendee to walk around and see the cars up close and examine the details. And, I come from a photography background, so it's also a great moment to take pictures.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is Porsche Esports Challenge. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I'm kind of from the wrong generation about that.
I know, me too. Me too.
I will say that, I've been involved in a number of, esports side of things. And, while I'm not the greatest sim driver, I will say that I have great respect for the people that do get involved in that. And it is a very, meaningful tool to motorsport these days to use sims and to be involved in the esports side of it. So I think it's a great opportunity to kind of peel back the curtain a bit to that type of experience, and you'll be able to go into a space where that's taking place and really see and watch people compete head to head. So it'll be pretty special. And I got to say that the talent that is involved in the esports side of things is pretty spectacular these days.
Oh my gosh, these guys blow me away. I've tried sitting in some of those things and I'm not very good at it. I think it's like any racing. You got to have the seat time to make that all work and be really skilled at it for sure. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions that are kind of related to what I ask most of my guests. But since you've been on before, I'm going to twist this up and tie this to Rennsport. So talk about special vehicles. Is there a car coming to Rennsport that has you really jazzed? One car, I know there's lots, but if you could just pick one right now, real quickly off the top of your head, is there one car coming that you just cannot wait to see?
I'm a visual person.
Yeah,
so
I know you are.
Cars that have taken shape by purpose and for the desire of going faster have always been interesting. And I think that, there was a time at Le Mans when you had the Mulsanne straight that required very high speeds, that cars evolved into long tail versions of the short tail versions that normally raced. And I think any of the long tail cars are certainly something that I really love to look at. And there will be a recently restored 907 there that I have not seen in person yet. And knowing the people involved in the restoration and the owner, it will be spectacular. So I think that will be a great car to see, and it will be part of the Tag Heuer Heritage Tent, which is definitely the hub of all of the paddock there. And that car will be in that space, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it there.
Oh, now you got me all lathered up. Yeah, I can't wait to see it either. You mentioned that tag. I was walking around at the end of one of the Rennsports last time, and sitting there, and nobody was around him and bothering him, was Jackie Ickx. He was just sitting in a chair. There was a big lounge chair, and I went, oh my gosh. I went up and sat down next to him and said, I can't believe I'm sitting next to you. And he laughed and patted me on the shoulder, and he said, well, what do you want to talk about? Probably Porsches. And I ended up sitting there talking with him for probably a good 10, 15 minutes. And that's the spirit of Rennsport, is you think somebody as famous as him in the Porsche history, but it was the end of the day. A lot of people had left. I'm one of these guys that gets there first thing and leaves last, so that's the kind of thing you can experience. Now, I didn't ask you this question before, but you are a very creative guy, and I want to thank you because I've been into photography for a long time, but I really look up to your eye. You have an eye that is so spectacular, and you see things. And I always follow you on Instagram, and I think, okay, I want to see like Jeff. I got to look like Jeff. So this question is a little bit like that, a little bit of a car analysis question. If you, Jeff Zwart, were reincarnated, pun intended, manifest as a Porsche, what would Jeff Zwart be?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a little deep, but
I would say that I would probably be one of the, because I am very outdoors, very non-traditional, and tend to put cars in places that aren't normally where they work. And I would say that for me, the visual side of it and the capability side of it, the 959 that ran at Paris Dakar would probably be my car.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And that also would relate to our friend Jackie Ickx at the same time.
Well, yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And, I'm really thrilled at this new Dakar Porsche that they've done. I haven't been able to see one in person, but I've got to guess we're going to see one or two at Rennsport. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, we'll have a couple of those there, and I actually have had the opportunity to spend a little time with the test team with one of them, and then just most recently spent some time with a friend of mine who just took delivery of his. So they're really going to be a fun car in the 911 lineup, and I just look forward to starting to see them all around. But we will definitely have a Dakar on display at Rennsport.
Oh, I'm so excited. There's a Porsche Dakar for sale right now on Bring a Trailer. It ends today. So any of you listeners want one, I checked yesterday and the bid was already up to $262,000. So bring your big checkbook, but here's your chance to get one of the first ones. Now, you mentioned earlier that you've done 3 Rennsport books, and I want to make sure that I list these because they are in my library, but will there be another after this Rennsport?
It's not scheduled from me, but I wouldn't doubt there's another one. The last Rennsport I did was a compilation of the first 5 Rennsports. So, we're getting dangerously close to having 5 more to do a compilation book. But the last book I did was a book that really told the story of Rennsport 1 through Rennsport 5 and all the cars that were involved and personalities, and had some fun things to kind of describe visually throughout the book. So I really enjoyed doing that book.
So I'm going to send you on the ultimate drive. I'm a bit of an enabler. I'm going to put your seat into any Porsche car. You can take it to any track in the world. And if you'd like to take somebody along with you, maybe somebody from the past, which opens up a very wide avenue of people, very special people, what does the ultimate drive in a Porsche look like for a guy who's been on thousands of ultimate Porsche drives?
Oh, boy. I remember your last question's always tricky. I would say that it might be really fun to take, let's see, one of the great passes in Switzerland and drive over it with helmet bought. And again, going back to the 959 of just hearing all the engineering and all the thoughts of that, and to do, one of the great passes there, it would really be fun. And I just think that, anytime you can kind of share a moment with somebody who was so influential in Porsche's history, it would really be a fun journey. And quite honestly, I would rather be the passenger with that person than driving that person. So it'd be good.
Wouldn't that be nice? What a wonderful thought. For sure. Well, you've taken us on another great drive, and I cannot wait to see you and everyone at Rennsport. Again, listeners, this is taking place. It's coming up here September 28th through October 1st. You can get tickets online at PorscheRennsportReunion.com. You can, I would get your plane flights and your rooms booked now. There's still availability. So join Jeff and I and the other guests this week at Rennsport, because it won't let you down. Before I let you go, could you share maybe some words of inspiration for people when it comes to your life creating around your passion for cars, a mantra or a success quote of some kind?
Oh, I think that, I would say that, always leave room to be in awe. It's just, that's something that I think will happen to people at Rennsport over and over again, is to be in awe of what you are presented with there and who you're presented with and all of that. And I think leaving room in your own little head to be in awe of other people and other things is a great way to look at things.
This will be an awe fest.
Yes.
I can guarantee you, listeners. Most definitely. This is going to be so much fun. I want to do a shout out to Barry Tepke, who is the guy at Laguna Seca. He got Jeff and I back together again. What they've done at Laguna Seca and the improvements they're doing there will make this year even better for everybody. Jeff, thanks for taking a little break out of your very busy schedule. Hopefully I'm the last meeting of the day. You said you've had 3 with Rennsport this week, so hopefully you can take the evening off and relax a little bit. But I have a feeling until this is all over, you're going to be running flat out with your foot to the floor. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you at the Porsche Rennsport Reunion.
Thanks, Mark. As always, great.
Awesome. I much appreciate it. For several years now, you've heard me talk about Linkage Magazine. I've been a subscriber since the start. Their talented and creative team brings you a spectacular publication and website that shares the automotive passion from a worldwide perspective. Linkage is about driving, restoring, collecting, and first-hand experience at collector car auctions and more. They bring you real-world values plus rational, experienced opinions on the current markets. They cover the automotive world and the people who share our passions. And Linkage Magazine has grown, mailing you 6 issues annually. Join me on this journey with Linkage. They're geared for the automotive life. You can subscribe at linkagemag.com. If you're listening to this program, there's a pretty good chance you believe what I believe, that the collector vehicles we love are more than just a means of getting from one place to the other. They're a part of our culture, our identity, and as a people, they bring us together at vintage races, classic car auctions, and 1,000-mile rallies. That's why I support the RPM Foundation, which exists to ensure that the critical skills necessary to preserve and restore these important vehicles aren't lost to time. RPM stands for Restoration, Preservation, and Mentorship, and their goal is to inspire the next generation of vehicle restoration professionals through its outreach programs. And they include Shop Hop, Off to the Races, the RPM Future Class, and many others. These programs engage talented young people across the country and connect them with mentors and a variety of opportunities in the industry. For more information on how the RPM Foundation is driving the future of collector vehicles skilled trade, visit rpm.foundation today.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.